Hello all, welcome back to Tackly Yours. Today we will cover some React Native interview questions which will help you to ace your interview. You can also go to the channel and watch one more video I have uploaded with some questions for the React Native interview. And today we will cover some other ones. So let's get started. First is what is JSX? This is one of the commonly asked question. So basically JSX stands for JavaScript XML. It allows us to write UI directly inside the JavaScript instead of writing complex JavaScript code to create UI elements. JSX makes it simpler and more readable. Even though JSX looks like HTML, it is not HTML. So behind the scenes, JSX is converted into JavaScript using Babel. For JSX and React Native, it works little bit different than in React JS. Like we can see in web, we use div, but in React Native, we use view. Instead of using p like paragraph tag for web, we will be using text here. So basically like this is one view, it will treat it as a view. Whatever it's written here, like what is JSX, this is inside the text component. And for the styling like this blue color or other things, we will be using style. So without JSX, it is like const element react.create element, and then we will be putting the text inside. But with JSX, it makes it simpler and more readable. We can directly write const element equal to text hello world and closing text tag. If the interviewer asks you what is JSX, you can give these points like what is JSX, why we are using it, and simpler examples. One more thing is there are certain rules of JSX, like it must have a parent element. Every JSX return statement must be wrapped in a single parent element. So like for if we see a basic React Native code, suppose we go to app.tsx. So we have a navigator container in the top one, like where we have defined the navigation. Inside that we have put all of our navigation, so we have only one parent tag. If a simple one we can see, then we have this view. Inside this view we have written other components, but we have only one parent element. Then other is just expression must be inside curly braces. So if we have written name and we want to show it in the UI, then we will be using text hello comma, uh, inside the curly braces we will be give the name. So we can see one example. I have like already written the code, not to like waste the time, so that we can do it quickly. So I have a const number that is 42. If I want to print this number, I will be using curly braces. Inside that one I have written number. As we can see in the screen, it is 42. If I will be adding it 1, so inside the curly braces I can write it number plus 1. So that is 43. Suppose as the name example we have seen, if I'll uncomment this and I have to show the name, I'll quickly save this and we can see name John. This name is coming to this, we have used it inside the curly braces. Then what we have is use style instead of class name. So we for the styling of the element we have to use style equals to color, then our font size. As we can see in the view also we have used style, like whatever style we have to give it inside the style. Then self closing tags for empty elements, like image, this is a empty element, so it must have to be self closing. It can't be like image and closing tag. It is not the case, so we can directly make it a self closing one. Then boolean props don't need equals to true. That means if a prop is boolean, you can omit equal to true, that is button press title me equals to disabled. This is true by default. Then if we want to add any of the comment, it must be inside the curly braces. Like I have put this comment like embedding integer inside the JSX. It is inside the curly braces, backslash, asterisk, then our content, then asterisk, then backslash. Then if we have to write any of the statement, that must be inside the curly braces. Like I am putting some condition. If count is greater than 0, then it is positive. If it is less than 0, then it is negative. So this whole condition has to be inside the curly braces. Let's go move on to our next question, that is what are native elements. So basically native elements are UI elements that is written in native code. Like if we want for iOS, that will be in Swift, and for Android we can write it in Java or Kotlin, but it can be used inside the React Native like a regular components. This is the very basic thing. Like in many of our apps we will come inside this and we have to use some native components. It will be a case for multiple apps. So this one is also a very frequently asked question. Then comes when to use native element. So when we need any custom UI element uh, for React Native, which React Native does not support. Okay, so you can give any example from the app. Then when a native library exists but no React Native wrapper, then also we can use native elements. When we need better performance for animations or UI heavy components. Okay, so we can use native elements for multiple things, but because we are working in React Native, which already support both Android and iOS using a simple code base, so only we will be using native elements wherever we can't do that particular task, or we want that better performance, we can't find it using native React Native support or its wrapper or its library, then only we will be using native components. Then other question comes is what is a bridge in React Native. So a React Native bridge is basically a JavaScript code which is used to communicate with the native code that is written in, like for Android we have Java Kotlin, or for iOS Swift or Objective C. So it is a required feature is not available in React Native, then we need a bridge. If we need to integrate a native SDK that React Native wrapper does not support, or also we need better performance for intensive tasks, like those intensive tasks involves like Bluetooth related tasks, video processing related tasks, or any background services. So on that case we need uh, this bridge. Then other question comes is uh, what are native modules in React Native. So basically native modules allows us JavaScript code in React Native to communicate with native code written in Java or Objective C. Okay, so we have seen native components and native modules, both of these things are different. So basically native components, what it means, uh, these are the UI elements and these are some features. Okay, this is the difference, don't get confused with native components and native modules. So native module is useful when we required a feature that is not available in React Native. We need better performance for certain functionality, we want to integrate native SDKs. These days we are doing multiple different kind of things, so integrating SDK is very common. And then come when to use native modules, like as we can see, hardware access like Bluetooth, fingerprint, or anything we need. Then device sensor related work we are doing in our app. Then we can use then native feature like background services, camera, native UI elements, or we want performance optimization. Okay, on those cases we will be using this native modules. Then comes what is React navigation. So our so navigation is basically a JavaScript based navigation library developed and maintained by React Native community. So what are the pros and what are the cons? This is like it will be asked a multiple time. So pros are basically the code is fully written in JavaScript, so it is easy to install, then highly customizable, like nested navigators are there is themings, transitions are flexible in this React navigation. Then we have a large ecosystem and community support with us. Then it works well with, you have must have heard of Expo. Then we don't need native code changes, and it is easier to bug because it is pure JavaScript based. Then what are the cons? Performance can suffer in large or complex app because it is JS based and we are working on React Native, that is Android and iOS. Then if animation and transition may not feel 100%, sometimes it will happen, like we have seen, we can we have like bridging with us and other things like native modules. So we can make use of them. And also sometimes more boiler plate code for advanced patterns like drawer tab within the stacks. So these are some of the cons. Then when to use React navigation. Okay, so basically when we are working with Expo or want a quick setup, then we can use it. You want a cross platform consistency with minimal native code, then we prefer this because it is more boilerplate, we have ready code, we don't have to do larger setup. Then comes React Native navigation. So it is a navigation library, actually uses native navigation components under the hood. Okay, then because we will in the React Native all only we use React navigation, but React Native navigation as well. You must have heard of the libraries. When we do any kind of navigation, we have some import there. Okay, as suppose I am using this, so in my this I am using navigation container that is from React navigation. Okay, this thing, and somewhere you will heard React Native navigation as well. Okay, then what are the pros? That is truly native navigation, better performance and its smoother transitions. Then better memory management in this React Native navigation, more native like feel because it is OS specific. Then we have better memory management in this if there is large navigation stacks. Then what are the cons? It requires native code setup. Okay, and it is more complex to configure because it is platform related. And some React Native features may require additional bridging that we have learned, so it may be required in this. And also the community support for this React Native navigation is smaller than the React navigations. So when to use React Native navigation? When we need a top notch performance and the native feel. If the animation or the transition or the screen changes has to be like the client want it up to date, not up to date clearly, like very native feel, you don't feel like that something is transiting, then we will be making use of React Native navigation. If we are working on large scale production app with complex navigation needs, then make sure you are using this so as not to do more coding on the JS specific, and you have to do it more like OS specific changes you have to do. So for the on those cases, make sure you are using React Native navigation. Then one more question which is very likely to be asked, and in our day-to-day React Native apps we come across this issue, like how you will handle platform specific code in React Native. So first we have platform module. React Native's platform module lets you detect the platform, like platform.os. It will give us it is Android or it is iOS. Then platform specific file extensions are there, like if component.ios.js, that means it is a iOS version. If component.android.js, that it means it is a Android version file. Okay, then we have platform specific folder. We can what we can do is, if the app is larger for iOS and Android, to make it more native, like we have any function or a functionality which we want to be specific to the iOS or Android and give it more native feel, then we can uh, make a specific folder, like for Android these are the files, for iOS these are the files. Okay, then native modules, we have what we have written. For functionality that requires native module, we can create native modules and expose them to JavaScript using the React Native bridge. What are the best practices? Start with cross platform code. Only split when necessary. It is not required that every functionality will require more native feel or a platform specific code, so don't go for those. Only changes has to be done where it is necessarily required. Use platform.select for simply style differences. Okay, sometimes it may happen multiple time. I can say that you have given, like suppose you are writing platform.os, like you have given, if this is iOS, then you want uh, margin top 10. Okay, like this, suppose styling you are giving, because it can happen if you are giving one margin for Android, it can be, if you give margin top 5, it will be same as margin top 10 in iOS or something else. So this kind of thing may happen multiple times, so you can put a condition like this. Then keep shared logic in common files, consider third party libraries. These are some best practices. Then we have other question. Your app is becoming sluggish and slower, so how you will handle that? So first step is optimize rendering with React Memo. Then we can minimize unnecessary re-renders by using React Memo or higher order component. We can also like memoize functional components so that we can prevent re-renders when props remain unchanged. Then third step we can use is efficient data fetching using React Query. So this is one of the best methods I have come across. What we can do is we can make use of this use query, which is from imported from React Query. So what it will do, if the data is loading, it will return the loading indicator, and in the screen we can see the loader. But if the data is loaded and we get the content, then we can display the data and we can render this component data displayed, data equal to data what we are getting from here. Then fourth step we can do is like we can make use of fast screen with flat list. If the data is large, we have to use flat list. Then we can optimize data fetching and rendering by integrate React Query with the flat list component. Then the sixth step, we can make use of state management with hooks, use state, use callback, and use memo. So basically we can, we when we are using the use state, it will manage the component state efficiently, while use callback and use memo, they will prevent the unnecessary re-render and they will optimize the computation of expensive values. Then we can optimize navigation, it will enhance the user experience. Then scale and resize images, we don't have to use large size of the image. Also make sure you are using PNG instead of JPG format, smaller resolution images wherever it is required. Then avoid updating state or dispatch action in up component will update. So make sure in the component will update life cycle method, to prepare for an upgrade, not to trigger another one when we are making use of this. Then also we can make sure we are not using unnecessary arrow functions. Then also use style references correctly. If we are using objects or arrays for styling, they will create a new instances with each new render. So we should use a style sheet in React Native, which always passes a reference instead of a new object or array creation and allocation. Also, one more thing we can do is we can make use of Hermes. Hermes is basically a JavaScript engine optimized specifically for mobile application. So it is available for Android platform, for React Native, for the versions above 0.60.4, and it is also available for iOS. So it will help reduce the download size of the APK. Whenever as a user we download any app from the Play Store or the Apple Store, we always see the download size. Okay, so we can make use of Hermes as well. So these are some interview asked question mostly. So I will cover other interviews questions as well. Please do subscribe the channel and do leave a comment how you feel about the video, what I can cover more, so that in my upcoming videos I'll make sure of those points. And do like and subscribe the channel. Thank you very much. Happy learning.